Welcome to the Prison Professors Podcast. We serve people who face challenges with prosecution, sentencing, and prison. My co-founders are Sean Hopwood and Justin Paperny. My name is Michael Santos. We create digital content and our team offers individual consulting services. We also assist agencies that want to improve outcomes. To learn how we can help you, text the word Prison Pro to 44222. Again, text Prison Pro to 44222 and get our free brochure. You can also visit us at prisonprofessors.com or contact Justin at 818-424-2220. Please subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. Send confirmation that you reviewed our podcast and we'll send you a free digital book. Stay tuned for a 20 to 30-minute episode of Prison Professors. Welcome to Prison Professors. I am Michael Santos. Today I get to do a follow-up interview with Randy Kearse, who is an amazing man. I've known him in prison when I was I was probably in my 20th year of prison when I met Randy, and he was just a guy that impressed me a lot because he worked so hard. He was always had a very strong discipline about him. He knew what he wanted to do, and the decisions that he made in prison put him on a pathway to success. In our previous episode, we heard about what brought Randy into the criminal justice system. We learned that he was in prisons of high security, low security, medium security, and really he told us about how decisions he made inside put himself on a pathway to success. And now we're going to be hearing about Randy's first 10 years in society since he was released from prison. So Randy, thank you again. I know you're a busy dude. Thank you again for taking time to speak with our audience again. But I know that the people are going to be really interested in about your business acumen and what you've been able to do. So why don't you tell us how you built the Reentry Strategies program, incarceration to corporation program, and all the other successes that you've had. Talk with us.
Well, again, I have to go back to when I was incarcerated and how I prepared to do the things that I was doing while I was prepared to do what I was doing when I got out, and how, like you said, having that discipline, that patience, that focus, and how I was able to use all of those things and implement my plan when I got out. So that was the first thing I had, was a plan. When I got out, I automatically didn't start doing the things that I'm doing today. I had to get that minimum wage job for about a year and a half. I was a messenger in New York City where, I had to travel around the city delivering packages and envelopes and walking for 10 hours a day in the rain, cold. So I had to basically start all over again, and it was hard, to be honest with you. And I think that's where a lot of times guys lose focus because they don't want to put in the work. So once I built up enough capital, and then I started driving for the messenger company, and I started to earn more income. And then that's when I started launching my books. We spoke about Street Talk, the official guide to hip hop and urban slanguage, in our last episode. And when I came out, I got a book deal for that a year after I got out. No, it was about 6 months after I got out, I got a book deal for that. So I was happy. I was feeling good. I got a nice little advance on that from the publishing company and stuff like that. So it was feeling good. Probably like in 2 years after getting out, I published this, Changing Your Game Plan, how I used incarceration as a stepping stone for success. And this book right here, go ahead.
Yeah, I always get a lot of takeaways from you, and I want to make sure that our audience gets that same level of takeaway, Randy, because you just gave us a lot of wisdom right there, and I want to recap it then. We're talking about a man who didn't give up. He said he would take a minimum wage job. He would do whatever it takes to become successful. That meant walking in the rain. That meant working 9-10-hour days at minimum wage so that he could advance his calling. And because he advanced that calling, then he was able to seize upon the opportunities for all those seeds that he sowed when he was in prison, getting a publishing deal, getting an advance. But when he got that advance, he didn't just blow it. He didn't just go out and buy a new Rolex or get some hot wheel rims for his car. He invested that to make the next stage in his career. And he just showed that amazing book up to us. Will you show that us again? That's Changing Your Game Plan, how I used incarceration as a stepping stone for success. That's why I'm so impressed with Randy Kearse. He's not a man who talks about it. He's a man who does it. And he did it when he was in prison. He's doing it right now. So you continue with that story. But when you give wisdom like that, brother, you got to let me just really soak it in because it's so important.
The book itself is about my personal journey. of change while I was incarcerated, and the things that I seen while I was incarcerated that kind of handicap people from really being the best they can be while they're incarcerated and preparing for get out. As you know, when we're incarcerated, everybody wants to get out. Yeah, you know, we're waiting to get out. Everybody wants to get out. But not too many people are actually preparing to get out. They don't have a plan for what they're going to do when they get out. And I've seen a lot of guys like yourself, you know, you've probably seen a lot of guys go home, they come back, they go home and come back. And basically trying to show people how to do time in order to prevent yourself from coming back. So
you're a master of that.
So when I got the capital together, I published this. I self-published this book right here. This has opened up so many doors for me, and I've sold over actually 80,000 copies of this book by myself.
So that's another point. You're a businessman. You're not just an author. You're a typer. You typed it all out. You wrote it all out. You formatted it all. You put in a lot of hours. You invested your money to build it. But you know as well as I know that there's a lot of people who are going into the prison system or who are in prison that say that they want to write a book. They don't really know how. And you know how. You've done it. And you said that you self-published it and then sold 80,000 copies. So walk our audience through the self-publishing business. How did it work for you? How did you go from having an idea to creating a manuscript, to formatting the manuscript, to getting a publishing deal, and then bringing it to market?
Well, I mean, man, we're going to need about 10 shows to walk people through the process. But, I mean, basically is taking that idea and turning that idea from out of your head and putting it on paper. That's the number one start. Everybody said, I want to write a book, I want to write a book. But not too many people, again, we're talking about discipline, will sit down and actually write the book. Once you write the book, I mean, you got to learn the business. You got to know some of the ins and outs of self-publishing, which I did, again, while I was incarcerated, learning about self-publishing, learning the particulars and everything like that. And once I got out, I hit the floor running. I mean, it's a matter of knowing what you want to do.
Are you comfortable talking about business a little bit, Randy, for our audience?
Sure.
Good. So give us an idea. What does it cost to publish a book? What is the, you said you self-publish it. How much capital does somebody need, assuming they're willing to work as hard as you, they're as smart as you, they're going to work as hard as you? How much money do they need to actually publish the first version of books?
Well, today, versus when I first got into the game, today you can publish a book for free.
Okay.
I mean, you can literally publish a book for free. And what I often tell people, there's a website called CreateSpace, and they will allow you to set up an account on their website. Basically, once your book is print ready, you can upload your files to the site, set the price for it, and bang, you're self-published. You can buy the books from them at a very low discount. You can go out there and sell your books hand to hand. You can do it, how you want to do it. That's one way. They'll handle your online sales and everything like that. And pretty much you're self-published. You're just as self-published as everybody else. And then there's the way that I did, like when I first self-published this book, what I did was at the time I had a printer. He charged me $3 a book. So I ordered 1,000 books.
So you needed about $3,000 to get off the ground back then.
Yeah.
And you sold the book for how much?
$10. I sold them on the street for $10.
And we'll remember again, just for those of you who aren't so good at math, he did 80,000 books, my friends. 80,000 books with a $7 spread. You can do the math on that and see how successful a man you are looking at right now. A man who went to prison numerous times, started going to prison when he was 12 or 13 years old, been in the high security penitentiaries, but he sold 80,000 books at about, even if you call it $5 a book, that's more than $400,000 in earnings for our man Randy.
But let me tell them this. People, they hear that number, but I put in my work. I put in the time. You know what I'm saying? I went out and I would go out with a bag of books, and I would go out and sell them on the street of New York every single day. That's what I did, and I still do it sometimes. But it's a matter of going out there and being confident enough to be able to stand behind whatever product or whatever service that you're providing. So once I did that and I started getting such a great feedback about the book, and then I started to transition and creating programs for people that are incarcerated to help them manage their time when they're incarcerated and use that time to their best ability. Because, I mean, people have to understand time is a commodity. Time is a commodity. That is one of the most precious things that you have at your disposal, whether you're incarcerated or not. Time is money. And how you use your time will depend on how successful you are. You know, and that's one thing that I follow to this day. I don't waste time. I don't have time for frivolous conversations. I don't have time for a lot of nonsense that's not conducive to me for reaching my goal. So I started getting so much great feedback from this book, Change Your Game Plan, that I automatically transitioned to making a workbook, a program, creating a structure for people to really use in order to walk them through the process of change. I mean, this book right here, workbook, I don't like to call it a workbook because people don't like to work. So I call it a guide, a reentry guide. It's called Change Your Game Plan, the blueprint for successful prison reentry. And this is an awesome tool to help you basically reinvent yourself while you're incarcerated, walk you through the process of things that you need to work on internally in order to prepare for getting out. It's over 50 chapters, and I mean, there's some deep chapters in here. After every chapter, there's questions and answers in each chapter for you to go over what you got from the chapter and how it relates to your life. There's a vocabulary building tool in there for people that want to, get their vocabulary up. I mean, there's templates for what you're going to do when you get out. You know, you have to have all your plan in order and everything like that. And, this book right here, I mean, if you're really looking to up your game while you're incarcerated for getting out, this workbook is something, and it's being used in reentry programs and correctional facilities all over the nation right now.
So what we're listening to is a man who really knows what it's like to reinvent himself. He started off on the streets of Brooklyn. Was it Brooklyn?
Yeah, Brooklyn, BK.
Started off in the streets of Brooklyn, went into the prison system as a young boy in Rikers Island, went to high security federal prisons, and yet he's now an extremely successful author, a successful businessman, life coach, and we are so proud to be working with him at Prison Professors that I'm going to invite Randy to be a part of our team because I just think he can add so much value to people. And he's proving that he's doing it right now. But what anybody who's listening to this should see is they can do it too.
Absolutely.
What advice might you offer to somebody right now who's in the New York City Department of Corrections facing a long period of time in prison? What do they need to be doing right now that could put them on a pathway to change their game plan, Randy?
I tell people all of the time, it's not how much time you do, it's what you do with the time. That's the key right there. I mean, you have people who have never been to prison and still not doing nothing with their life. So being incarcerated is not an excuse to do nothing. You have the time right now to focus on what you want to do with your life, what direction you want your life to go in. It's almost like being in a situation where you're at a crossroad. You're at a crossroad of your life. Not many people have the opportunity to have their life stopped in mid-stride and start all over again. People get committed to jobs and families and responsibilities and everything like that, so they don't have the opportunity to veer off and do something different with their life. While you're incarcerated, you have that opportunity to literally start your life all over again.
Randy, you started your life all over again, and now you're earning a great living showing other people who come from struggle how to start their life again. Tell us a little bit, and for those of you who don't know, I am going to link to Randy's inspiring episodes on YouTube where you see him out hustling his books. He goes on to the subway. He's carrying a bag of books. He's taking money. He's inspiring people. Why? Because he's not talking about success. He is sowing the seeds and making it happen every single day. And that's what makes him an amazing man and a great inspiration to people like me who just want to, always want to lead a life of relevance and value. But tell us a little bit about the people that you are working with, Randy, when you go into jails, schools, or prisons. Tell us a little bit about your approach to connecting with those people.
I mean, it's really because I come from that experience, that I've lived that experience, and I'm hopefully living as an example of what people can do with their life that has allowed me to do the things that I'm doing and reach the people that I'm reaching, because I can speak to their experience. I can speak the language that will hopefully inspire them to say, you know what, if he did it, I can do it too. What people don't really know is I've sold more books to people who've never been to prison than probably people who've been to prison, because we all need change in our life. We all need we all go through some struggle or some challenge that we need to face. And how do we, these books and these workbooks are about how to overcome those challenges, how to face those challenges. And we are a sum of our experiences, how we handle those experiences, and what we take from those experiences to make us better people. And just because you're incarcerated doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Prison doesn't have to define you. You define who you are. And you don't allow that environment to make you something or someone that you really truly wasn't meant to be. You can come out of that place better, wiser, more focused, more disciplined, and you can be successful too. There's a lot of people who have been incarcerated as yourself, who have came home and are doing phenomenal things. And I mean, your show is an important a tool to help show people what the possibilities are. And that's why I created this program, Beyond Prison, Probation, and Parole, where we interviewed successful people and telling their stories of success through this program that I created. And I mean, it's just a matter of, wanting something better for your life, man.
So Randy, what he is a one-man content machine, and the world really recognizes and appreciates his brilliance. In fact, I have seen Randy on some major television networks. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that experience, Randy?
I was on the Colbert Report probably about 5 years ago.
Tell us how that came about.
Well, actually, they reached out to me.
Yeah, tell us how that happened.
I got an email that said, that they came across. Matter of fact, Slate.com had did an article about me and the dictionary. And that went like nationwide. And I got a lot of calls from a different print media and people on TV. And Stephen Colbert's team reached out to me about that book. But then when they brought me on the show and found out that I had Changing Your Game Plan, and I think it was a congressman about to go to prison soon, and they wanted to connect the story, so they brought me on the show to talk about Changing Your Game Plan. And it's been off to the races. I've been in the New York Times. I've been in the New York Daily News twice. I've been on the Wendy Williams show. I've done a lot of stuff, man. I've actually had my own TV show called Straight Talk with Randy Kears. Right now it's in hiatus. I'm so busy doing so much, traveling, speaking, and just trying to show people, man, how to reclaim their life, how to live a more positive, productive life after incarceration.
We're talking to Randy Kears, and he knows about incarceration to corporation. In fact, he wrote the book on incarceration to incorporation. We were talking about his business reentry strategies and what he has done. In fact, I know he's also cut some deals with some big tablet providers like Adovo. Tell us a little bit about how you came across that deal, Randy.
I was looking around on how to get my content out there in front of the population that can use it the most, those who are caught up in the criminal justice system, those who are incarcerated. And I found that technology now is finding its way inside the correctional facilities now by the use of tablets. And I reached out to this tablet company, and I gave them a spill of what I'm doing. And I pretty much sent them a proposal, gave them some material to look at, and within like 6 weeks, we cut a deal for them to put my video series, the one I just showed you, Beyond Prison Probation, on their tablets. And that, wherever their tablets are in the Department of Corrections in North Carolina, Chicago, 3 other states, that it's on there. And that program is like one of the top rated programs, used programs on their tablets. So we cut a deal, they sent me my check, and it was on.
Man, I'm so happy for you, Randy. You are really making things happen, and you're an inspiration to so many people who'd like to do what you do. You can show them that you've walked the path and you've never wavered. You've never gotten back into the criminal lifestyle. And I'd like you to tell us a little bit about some of the people or some of the strategies that you use to reject that pull or that temptation that may be out there sometimes. Or do you even have the temptation anymore to interact with people who are involved in crime?
Well, I mean, when I first came home, there was a lot of people that were trying to basically feel me out and see whether or not, I really changed, or I was just talking about change, or was I really? So I had subliminal messages coming at me and people trying to see where I was at. But I pretty much, man, I had left that in prison. I left that mindset. Once I've changed my game plan, it was the mindset that I was able to change, that I kind of prepared myself for what was going to be able to come at me. I definitely, people, places, and things. I know we hear that a lot. People might hear that. But the people that you hang out with, the people that you surround yourself with, the places that you frequent, the places that you go, and the things that you do will pretty much define what road you travel once you get out here. You know what I'm saying? So now, I mean, being out for over 10 years, I don't have people coming at me, or I don't put myself in the situations that would even have a remote chance of sending me back to the penitentiary. I cross the street at the red light.
Yes, sir. So when our program, the Straight A Guide, we talk about having the right attitude, and you can't get a better attitude than what we're seeing in Randy Kears. That's 100% commitment to success, and that's what he just described for us. He also spoke, and the second part of our program is called an aspiration, where you got to see yourself as something more. Randy didn't just talk about writing books. He became an author, and then he became a successful best-selling author. And that's the third component of our program, which is action. You got to take those action steps, and you see it in Randy Kears. He's taken action from taking a minimum wage job, climbing out to getting his first book deal, taking the revenues and investing them in himself, and spinning that off into building an entire industry of reentry programs. Is just so awesome that he holds himself accountable. You hear him talking about putting in the work. You know that he is aware of opportunities. He looks for opportunities, like a deal he got with Adovo. He puts himself out there, and then people become aware of him, like the Stephen Colbert Show did. I mean, this is just not rocket science. It's just following the path of successful people. And my advice to anybody listening to this program is they follow the advice of Randy Kears, because he is the epitome of success after prison. And Randy, I know you got some more things to talk to our group about, so let us hear it.
I mean, what I tell people, if you put the same amount of time, energy, and passion into doing the right thing that you did when you was doing the wrong thing, your level of success, your chance for success is going to be greater. Because, I mean, when we're doing wrong, we put so much into doing wrong. I mean, so you got to be able to redirect that energy, that challenge, that thought process into doing the right thing. And you can't let people discourage you, man. When I was in prison and I was writing the dictionary, Street Talk, I had got so much negative feedback by the people that were I was in prison with, and they were just being so negative about me writing a book and saying you're going to go back to prison, nobody's going to read your book. But I didn't allow that to discourage me. I didn't allow that to get to the point that I would give up, and I just believed in it, and I made it happen. So you have to be able to believe in yourself to the point where if nobody believes in you, you still believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, and I live by what I do. I live by an example. I want to be an example. So, I just don't talk about it. I be about it. I don't really I just trying to, after doing wrong for so long, I'm just trying to do something right. That's it.
And you are doing right. And tell us a little bit about your experience of going into jails and prisons, because I know that you've had some experience of that. Is that right? Could you walk us through how you opened those opportunities?
Man, it's been sometimes, man, it's just mind-boggling to go back into the prison and not, be the one who was incarcerated, but going to encourage or inspire those who are incarcerated, and to walk into a prison through the front gate. My first time that I actually went back to the prison, to the jail to do a workshop, I went to Rikers Island. And it was amazing because I remember going to Rikers Island as a youth, and here I was returning as a man to talk to the youth. So when you go to Rikers Island, you have to go over this long bridge that takes you to the actual facility. And I was riding over that bridge, and it was just like, I was just, I don't know, it was just this feeling that came over me like, wow, everything came full circle, because I remember going over that bridge many a times in handcuffs. And when I go back, I try to get the men and the women to understand I'm not there to preach to them. I'm not there to, judge them. I'm there to tell you that if you can embrace the concept of change, if you can open your mind to it, if you can open your heart to change, that there are so many different things that you will be able to experience in your life that, we probably took for granted when we was running the streets, you know what I'm saying? And to see yourself in the perspective, and it's just an awesome thing that I can still connect with them, because I want them to come out and be able to have a better relationship with their children. I want them to come out and be able to be a positive role model in their community. I want them to come out and be someone that, people can respect. And I want them to grab and be able to regain their self-esteem and dignity. And it's just an awesome thing, man. I've been blessed in so many ways to do the work that I'm doing, that I just say, man, it's just, been a wonderful journey. It's been a wonderful journey.
It looks like my computer side is frozen again, so I'm going to stop this right now, because we've already got about 28 minutes. We're about the end of this episode, but I got a lot of you on there, Randy. I'll just throw a picture of my book up there when I'm talking, because they'll just see a black screen. But I do want to tell you, Randy, you're an inspiration and a role model to everybody in jail, everybody in prison, or everybody who's going inside, because you demonstrate that none of us are what our worst decisions are. We can always define ourselves with new decisions and write a new chapter in our own lives. You've done that. I wish you success, and we look forward to having you as part of our Prison Professors team. And you'll be able to get your books right from our website. We really encourage you, Randy, and I'll leave you the last word, because you're still on video.
What I would say to somebody who right now is watching this video is look forward. Don't look back. Look forward. You can't drive a car looking back. You have to look forward.
Thank you so much for listening. I am Michael with prisonprofessors.com, and on behalf of my two partners, Sean Hopwood and Justin Paperny, we thank you for listening. We hope that you will visit our website at prisonprofessors.com, or if you want more information on how we can help you, text the word Prison Pro to 44222. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow with another inspiring guest.